silent decision has been made. A new chapter is unfolding. Pakistan has officially accepted China's latest strategic offer, an offer that could reshape South Asia's future and tip the balance of global power. But what does this really mean? Is Pakistan stepping into a new era of prosperity? Or walking into a carefully crafted trap? Stay with us as we uncover the truth behind this evolving alliance, the promises, the perils, and the global consequences. Because this isn't just another headline, it's the beginning of a geopolitical shift that could change everything. Before we begin, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, because what you're about to hear might just change everything. Now, let's break it down. The offer that changed everything. The hushed announcement in early 2025 sent ripples through diplomatic circles, though the full weight of the China-Pakistan agreement remained initially obscured from public scrutiny. This wasn't merely an extension of the much-touted China-Pakistan economic corridor. It represented a fundamental recalibration of the relationship, venturing far beyond the realm of roads and power plants. Sources privy to the negotiations in Islamabad painted a picture of a comprehensive package, one that addressed Pakistan's immediate vulnerabilities while simultaneously embedding China's strategic footprint deep within the nation. The long-term lease of Gwadar port to Chinese naval operations was a particularly significant development, transforming a crucial economic hub into a potential strategic outpost. This access to the Arabian Sea grants China a vital maritime gateway, bypassing traditional choke points and projecting power into a strategically important ocean. The framework for military hardware transfers and joint exercises signaled a deepening security alignment, moving beyond simple arms sales to a collaborative military doctrine. The Intelligence Sharing Pact further cemented this bond, suggesting a unified approach to regional security challenges. However, the debt restructuring component was perhaps the most insidious, offering immediate financial relief while subtly tightening the noose of economic dependence. For a nation teetering on the brink of financial collapse, the offer appeared as a much-needed lifeline, a pathway to stability amidst a sea of economic woes. Yet, the strings attached, though perhaps not immediately visible, raised serious concerns among observers who saw this not as a rescue, but as a meticulously crafted trap, veiled in the guise of economic partnership. Why China made the move? Pakistan's staggering debt burden, with over $27 billion owed to China alone, formed the precarious backdrop against which this new agreement unfolded. This figure represents a significant portion of the nation's total external debt, a weight that has increasingly constrained its economic policy and autonomy. While the New Deal offered a restructuring of some of these obligations, the fine print reportedly granted China enhanced oversight over Pakistan's critical infrastructure and key economic sectors. This level of influence has understandably triggered unease within international financial institutions like the IMF and the World Bank, who have long cautioned against the perils of unsustainable debt. The narrative of debt diplomacy, where powerful nations leverage loans to gain strategic advantages, has become a familiar one in global geopolitics, and Beijing's approach has often been cited as a prime example. From the strategic port of Hambantota in Sri Lanka, now under Chinese control due to debt default, to the resource-rich regions of Africa, the pattern of offering loans followed by increased influence during repayment difficulties has been observed repeatedly. In Pakistan's context, the immediate economic relief provided by debt restructuring could come at the steep price of long-term sovereignty. Reports have surfaced suggesting that Chinese officials have already been granted considerable authority over decisions concerning Gwadar Port's management, the allocation of vital resources, and even the implementation of labor policies within CPEC projects. This raises a fundamental question about the true cost of this economic lifeline. Can a nation genuinely chart its own course when its financial and strategic levers are increasingly controlled by an external power? The strategic and military shift. Beyond the economic implications, the defense aspects of the China-Pakistan agreement have generated the most acute anxieties among regional and international observers. The increasing frequency of Chinese warships docking at Gwadar port had already hinted at a growing military relationship, but the new pact formalizes and expands this strategic alignment. By granting China semi-permanent access to the Arabian Sea, Pakistan has effectively provided Beijing with a crucial springboard for naval power projection into the Indian Ocean, a region of immense strategic importance for global trade and security. This development has sent alarm bells ringing in New Delhi, with Indian intelligence sources reportedly labeling it a security nightmare. American analysts have echoed these concerns, viewing the agreement as another bead in China's so-called string of pearls, a strategy aimed at encircling India with a network of military and economic influence. The agreement also encompasses a significant increase in joint military exercises between the two nations, facilitating greater interoperability and potentially the adoption of shared military doctrines. The transfer of advanced military technology from China to Pakistan, including sophisticated J-10C fighter jets and state-of-the-art drones, further solidifies this military partnership. In return for this support, China gains a strategically vital launchpad from which to monitor Western naval movements in the Persian Gulf and the broader Middle East, significantly enhancing its strategic reach and influence in the region. This deepening military collaboration represents a significant shift in the regional balance of power, with potentially far-reaching consequences for global security. Regional tensions escalate. The burgeoning strategic alliance between Pakistan and China has inevitably inflamed existing tensions within the already volatile South Asian region. India, locked in a long-standing border dispute with China and wary of Pakistan's close ties with its northern neighbor, views this new agreement as a direct and palpable threat to its security interests. The immediate aftermath of the announcement saw a swift reaction from New Delhi, with the Indian Defense Ministry reportedly accelerating the deployment of naval assets to the Arabian Sea in a clear attempt to counter the increased Chinese naval presence near its maritime boundaries. The United States, seeking to maintain its influence in the region and counterbalance China's growing assertiveness, responded by reaffirming its commitment to its defense partnership with India and increasing its own surveillance activities in the Arabian Sea. This strategic maneuvering further complicated the regional dynamics, particularly with Russia adopting a more nuanced approach, continuing to supply arms to India while simultaneously participating in joint military drills with China. The diplomatic climate in the region has visibly deteriorated, with formal talks becoming increasingly infrequent and strained. Disturbingly, reports of minor skirmishes along the line of control, the de facto border between India and Pakistan, have become more frequent, raising the specter of a larger conflict. The heightened military activity and the deepening strategic alignment have created a dangerous environment where the risk of a flashpoint incident, whether accidental or intentional, has become alarmingly high, prompting fears that this new alliance could indeed be the catalyst for a broader and more devastating regional conflict. The domestic response inside Pakistan. Within Pakistan, the government's enthusiastic embrace of the new agreement has been met with a far more complex and divided reaction from the populace. While official statements have lauded the deal as a crucial strategic victory, providing much-needed economic relief and bolstering national security, opposition parties and prominent economists have voiced serious concerns about the long-term implications for Pakistan's sovereignty and economic future. These anxieties have spilled onto the streets, with significant protest movements erupting in major urban centers like Karachi and Lahore. Demonstrators, expressing fears of undue foreign influence and a potential erosion of national independence, have accused the government of effectively selling out the country's future to Beijing. The situation is particularly volatile in the province of Baluchistan, where Gwadar port is located. Local separatist groups, who have long been suspicious of the increased Chinese presence and the perceived lack of benefits for the local population from CPEC projects, have reportedly intensified their attacks on infrastructure related to the economic corridor. This internal unrest adds another layer of complexity to the situation, potentially undermining the very stability that the agreement was intended to provide. Meanwhile, the average Pakistani citizen continues to grapple with the harsh realities of rising inflation, high unemployment rates, and a growing sense of economic powerlessness. For many, The debate over whether China is a friend or a foe has become secondary to the more pressing question of whether Pakistan still retains the ability to make its own decisions and steer its own national destiny in the face of increasing external influence, international reactions, and the geopolitical. The announcement of the expanded China-Pakistan agreement triggered a cascade of reactions across the globe, underscoring the significant geopolitical ramifications of this deepening alliance. The European Union, typically cautious in its pronouncements, issued a statement expressing concern about the potential for foreign entanglements with strategic implications, hinting at a broader unease about the shift in regional power dynamics. Key players in the Indo-Pacific, such as Japan and Australia, both members of the Quad Security Alliance, have called for heightened vigilance in the region, emphasizing the need to monitor China's growing influence and its potential impact on maritime security and freedom of navigation. Inside Washington, the agreement has ignited a debate among policymakers about a potential recalibration of U.S. aid strategies in the region, with discussions focusing on how to effectively counter Beijing's expanding footprint and maintain American influence. The Pentagon is reportedly actively drafting contingency plans to address potential escalations in the vicinity of Pakistan's coastline, reflecting the heightened security concerns within the U.S. administration. Even nations in the Middle East, such as Saudi Arabia and the UAE, who have historically been significant investors in Pakistan, are observing the developments with a degree of nervousness. They fear being potentially marginalized by China's increasing economic dominance in the country, which could impact their own strategic and economic interests in the region. The situation has clearly transcended a purely regional issue, transforming into a significant event on the global geopolitical chessboard, with every move by the involved parties being closely scrutinized for its potential impact on the existing world order. History repeats? The unfolding scenario in Pakistan bears an unsettling resemblance to historical patterns of superpower, influence, and alignment. Throughout the Cold War, nations often found themselves aligning with either the United States or the Soviet Union, driven not solely by ideological conviction but often by pragmatic necessity, particularly in the face of economic hardship or security threats. History is replete with examples, from Vietnam and Cuba to Afghanistan and Angola, where foreign influence, initially presented as economic aid or security assistance, ultimately led to deeper entanglements, including proxy conflicts and the erosion of national sovereignty. While the major global players and the specific circumstances may have evolved, the underlying dynamics of power and influence appear to be repeating themselves. Pakistan, which once maintained a close strategic partnership with the United States, particularly during the War on Terror, is now demonstrably shifting its allegiance eastward, forging a deeper and more comprehensive alliance with China. This pivot represents a significant turning point in Pakistan's foreign policy, driven by a complex interplay of economic needs, security considerations, and shifting global power dynamics. However, as history suggests, such fundamental realignments often come with unforeseen and potentially significant consequences, the full extent of which for Pakistan and the wider region remains, as yet, unwritten. In the high-stakes game of geopolitics, there are no permanent friends-only permanent interests. Pakistan's decision to accept China's offer marks a new chapter in a long, turbulent journey. What happens next could define the fate of a region and, perhaps, the world. Will this be the dawn of prosperity? Or the spark that ignites a regional storm? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain. The world is watching. And so should you. Pakistan's acceptance of China's offer is more than a bilateral deal. It's a move that could rewrite the rules of global power. Will it rise to the occasion or fall into dependency? The future is uncertain, the stakes are high, and the world is watching. What do you think? Is this the dawn of a new era or a dangerous gamble? If you found this analysis insightful, smash that like button, share your thoughts in the comments below, and subscribe to our channel for more in-depth geopolitical insights. The geopolitics doesn't end here. Stay informed, stay alert.